Good morning, y'all. How we doing? Kachuya. Good morning, y'all. Kachuya. Previously on Kimba TV. So I feel like there's two ways that I could get into a long if I really wanted to. There's two obstacles, Kobe, as bears. One is you cannot keep spending time like this. We were supposed to do this as bears. This is bullish. So time spent is tick tock. Obviously, everybody should be paying attention to volume. So is it real? Is it not? Spot and CME all the way up until Macaulay Culkin time is going to be the best thing to keep an eye on. Well, let's see if we get continuation. We're just looking for continuation from yesterday, so nothing's really changed. Eski Do says, I was doing my TA before market open. Am I right to not want BTC to go up to settlement? No, you can have it go to settlement. Yeah, the stop loss on any sort of short would be higher high anyways, so... Like any sort of short attempt made today, your stop loss is that guy. Can we look at Sol? Sure. We're still in the short. Yeah, nothing has really changed. Yeah, nothing's really changed for me. How we doing? Kimba, are you in a long? God damn, what the fuck? No, I'm not, but if you have a reason to be in a long, that's okay, man. I don't think you've truly made it as a trader if you're constantly worried about what anybody else is doing. So, yeah, no, I'm not in a long. I mean, fuck, I'll long 82. But, yeah, nah. I've been talking about 92 and shorting 92 to 82 for quite some time. We identified an SFP or a failed auction right there, and I'm just waiting to get that hoe, dude. Lions, can you imagine if that actually plays out? I mean, we got Kimba Crown. I feel like we did a pretty good job right here. We knew that it was going to be rough. We knew that we were going to get stopped down multiple times trying to take this short. But we got pixel perfect top short pretty much on Sol and Bitcoin. So, yeah, for me, like nothing has changed for about 2 weeks. So, yeah, no longs for me yet. But if you want a long, I mean, do you, boo-boo. I honestly don't care. I can't really argue for one right now, but yeah, like if you can argue for a long, I'm sure that you can put your stop loss at break even at this point, so you can't lose, right? And that's what it's all about. So if this Sol trade doesn't round trip you, how much time do you think it will take until TP? Pariah, I don't know. We don't really play games like that. Yeah, I have no idea. The only thing that I can really suggest in terms of like how much time is we have GDP and PCE next Wednesday. And then the week after that is FOMC. You think we're going to get rate cuts or not? Nah? 93.2% chance there's no rate cut. So yeah, I don't know how long it's gonna take. Also, Kimba, how did you learn to handle the stress and anxiety? Just getting desensitized, brother. Yeah, I used to be scared of needles, but you know, getting a shot in your ass every day pretty much like kind of takes that away, right? Yeah, so I think just desensitization and sample size. Boo Boo May says, I thought you were going to long and I was worried about my short. Well, that kind of defeats the whole purpose, though. You got to believe in you. You got to believe in math. Believing in Kimba, believing in me, that's the stupidest shit you could do. You got to believe in yourself and you got to believe in the math. Remember, Boo Boo, every day you have an opportunity to prove it to yourself that you know what you're doing. Dick Flex says, watching to see if we can break that useless line at 92.7. It's possible, but just, okay, so for example, if you were going to short that 92.7, do you want to leave single prints behind or no? If you were somebody that was hoping that 92.7 breaks, do you want to leave the single print like that? So you have 90 seconds on this 30-minute candle close. I would say that if you get any 30-minute candle close below here, your probability drops off of being able to turn 92.7 into support probably by like 5-6%. So you got to do it relatively quickly, Dick Flex. So whether it's 80, 81, 82, or 83 like yourself, I mean, you're asking me, why are you thinking about 80,000 to 82? Why not something that's $1,000 more? Fine, we can include 83. 80 to 83, how's that, Jariq? It doesn't really matter what the level is. I'm going to just be looking at data. So more bottom shorts, longs getting stopped out. It won't really matter if it's 83, 82, 81, 80. All right, it could be 84. I don't really care. It'll just be the data, Jariq. Chab Superstar says, we getting close to the GEX that we have not seen in a while. Well, it depends. Are you talking about the 0 day? Or you're talking about like all strikes, all expirations? Yeah, GEX flip is kind of bouncing around. There was one point last week where we were at like 55. I can't remember. Discipline is better says, following the pattern of this whales push, I long the 92K sweep to look for a 95, 96K sweep before the actual dump. Wouldn't you agree that would be better short? No, not really. No, because then all you're doing is making higher high and higher low. Yeah, so 96 is kind of like, at that point, I would be looking for like a bullish retest, even harder than I would be looking for a 92 to 82 bullish retest. So if we're going to go higher to 96, then my 82 to 80, the 82, 80 range would move up higher accordingly too. So then I would maybe think maybe 90. But let's get it. It should be pretty straightforward. So as long as, we always talk about it, but do the right thing. Make sure that you're prepared. Make sure that you don't get emotionally got, right? Stay cool, calm, collected. All right. Every day you have a chance to prove to yourself that you can be the type of trader that we all aspire to be. Show yourself and show the world that you can actually be a good trader. All right. But seize the opportunity. You feel me? Am juicing, paranoid Android Jedi's Kirk. Thank you for the resub. Boogama Mama, Dax 404. Pick Talk says, I'm vibing on the sideline with Kimba because I have no idea what's going on right now with the market. I love it. Well, do you want me to kind of give you a quick breakdown? Obviously, this is going to always have to supplement, the higher time frame plan. But if you want to just talk about day-to-day scalping stuff, Pick Talk, we're right at the value area high. What are two things that the value area high is going to give you an opportunity to do? Long and a short. Duh, right? Captain Obvious. So how would you, or what kind of data would you possibly be looking, like for example, if you were thinking about, let me take a short here at the VWAP or the value area high, right? What kind of data would you want to see? Would it be like a hidden bear div on CVD? Do you want, what kind of open interest data do you want to see? Obviously, S&P is right at Boo Gamma. You probably wouldn't want it to, continue to go higher than 54, 55, right? You got 7.5 coming up on Fibonacci. And so both of these might have the 1.25 extension coming up, right? I think Bitcoin is reaching point of control as well. Yeah, and have you been here since the morning when we were talking about like I know that there's people longing here. They're probably going to be TPing some here too. So, you know, you're either thinking about, okay, that could be bearish, and something like here would be where you want to take the long, and they're going to have completely different order flow. PickTalk. So, alrighty. PickTalk says, okay, so I'm looking for a short, just missing one or two confluence. Do you want an easy one or you want to scalp today? Because the easy one is 96. Yes? The stronger one, like the easier one with more confluence, VWAP, way heavier resistance, that one is going to be a little bit easier to play. And you have a higher chance of, even if you're wrong, you're going to be able to put your stop loss in profit. Like the way it would reject has a higher probability to be a bigger pullback than 92. 92 is like a softer resistance, right? So, or 94 or whatever. So, the easy one is 96. If you don't want to wait for 96 and you want to try to scalp, then yeah, Kimba box goes all the way up to 786, right? And you might be somebody that says, I'm going to try to blind limit short the 75786. Or you might be somebody that waits more for structure because you're going to trust the 7505 because you don't want to bother with dink, oh, I got stopped out. Maybe that's the risk reward isn't good enough for you. You know? So you might be somebody that wants to see this, then wants to see something like this. And then you're going to take it on here or you're going to take it on here, and that's your stop loss. All right, PickTalk. So which, like how bearish are you? What's your appetite? You feeling dangerous? So, and obviously this is all what? So like you definitely want to, you know, be careful because this is going to, if there's not enough actual selling appetite, you know, AKA those walls end up spoofing, this is going to go, as you probably have seen before. Hey, Blade. JV says, hey, Kimba, I had a really busy day. I just came back from meeting with client. Nice. Can I get quick recap? Well, do you want to take the opportunity to give me a recap, JV? The math is the math and the juice is the juice. Nothing has really changed. We set the value area high and value area low and the loose settlement last night. This morning, we readjusted the settlement for like $60 or whatever, however much it was off by. But it didn't really change. Settlement has always been in the smack dab middle. So all we did was we just got a full rotate right here, and now we're right here. Okay, so value area high, value area low. Full rotate. We've been looking to see if we want to get into a bearish retest today, right? So basically, Kimba box. So it's just a matter of, now that we're here, it's a matter of how many people are going to wait for this to long, how many people are going to wait for this to long, how many people are going to wait for this to short, and how many people are going to wait for this to short. That's really it. Other than that, you got to go with your own bias. All right? JV says, yes, I got stopped out from both Sol and BTC shorts from yesterday. That's okay. That's okay. First off, I'm proud of you for getting stopped out in profit and sticking to your plan, because that's the foundation that we want to work off of. No emotions, not getting compromised, having confidence in your own preparation and planning and executing, right? So you're doing great, JV. Did you prepare for the next setup, next trade? Yes. And just continue to be patient, have the discipline. Obviously, put yourself in a situation where you can't lose. We have lions that longed this. We have lions that longed that. And we have a lot of lions that basically longed the settlement and longed either the value. I mean, it depended on like where your threshold was and how much you wanted to front run a bullish retest, right? Like if you really were bullish and you wanted to long, a lot of lions like took that one and said, Kimba, I'm not even going to try to get a bullish retest, right? Some people ended up smashing the session-based VWAP, and so they have a long right here, and that's Gucci too. Really, probably anywhere through here. I didn't take any longs. I'm really more about trying to see if the failed auction is going to come out and play, right? That's what my plan was, a month and a half ago. So, and we talked about how I would get into a long. So I'm ready to execute that both on Biddy and Sol as well. Yeah. So I'm pretty much prepared, pixel perfect. Thank God the charts are mathing pixel perfect. And so it's really just a matter of having it's like code, right? It's like instructions. If, this, then this. If this, then this, right? And we started the day off with maybe 8 if commands. Now there's only 2 left, right? Because I would say 60 to 80% of the ifs were if this is resistance, 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 if it does a swing fail. So there's only there's really only 5 if commands for the bearish side. And then there's 2 or 3 if statements for the bullish scenario, right? So it's just with everything that happens and with more time passes and more price action happens, you're narrowing down what your plan is and the execution is for the day. So, at least it's allowing to have clean, really nice invalidations, right? So how nice is it that it's going to pixel fuck here? How nice is it that it's going to pixel fuck value area high? How nice is it that it might pixel fuck the VWAP? So whether you want to scalp long or scalp short, whether you're already in a scalp short or scalp long, the levels are pretty much the same for bulls and bears. The most important thing is that you don't get got. Don't get emotionally compromised, lashing out, coping, hoping, you know what I mean? Put your stop loss at break even, take profit. Don't let a green trade turn red. Don't FOMO, do what you were prepared to do. Don't try to do what other people are doing. Don't be lazy. All right. So don't get got, don't let the market makers bring out your worst, bring out your best. All right, Lions, we Gucci. Every day, every trade, you have an opportunity to prove it to yourself who you are. When the bullets start flying, when the adrenaline and the cortisol is coursing through your frontal cortex, it's always going to bring out your best or it's always going to bring out your worst. So, even if it's not about trading, you might end up, sucking ass and giving up on trading, and trading isn't for everybody, so that's okay. But being able to learn hey man, when shit hits the fan, when pressure is on me, when life gets hard, when shit gets tough, wow, I kind of turn into the worst version of myself. Even being able to be self-aware of that and having the opportunity to improve upon that in your normal life, that's still juice too. You know what I mean? And I truly believe that we're all capable of bringing our best when we need it the most. And, you know, we all just kind of need to believe in ourselves that we can do that and not, you know, always give in to the easiest thing. So let's get it, man. You got to love it. You got to love it. Can I just get a fucking lower low, please? Market makers. Oh, my God. But I can't lose, though. What do you guys think about this so far, chat? What do you guys think about this? We're doing this shit live now. We're doing this shit live now. All we know is Kachai. Hold on. No, I know y'all know math. Okay, so 30-minute candle close looks good, yes? If it really is a swing fail, it can't lose the what? Why the fuck am I looking at this, chat? If it really is a swing fail, it can't lose what? You just said. You know? What about Biddy? I don't give a shit about Biddy. Biddy is fine. Soul is fine. Biddy is fine. Okay? It's pixel fucking. Okay? I already told you guys what you guys should have already figured out what the fuck you were gonna do on value area high. Okay? Your boy got in a little bit too heavy here, so yeah, I'm in like a $13 million short on ES testnet. So bear with me while I fucking babysit this. You're in also? Shut the fuck up. I'm closing this bitch. Why would you say that? Why the fuck would you say that? God damn it, JV. I'm just teasing you. You know that, right? I love you, big dog. Come on, man. Hey, if you're not fucking juicing JV, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you. I'm fucking hand delivering everything. Alrighty? But look, I'm going to just, I say this every day. I don't give a shit if you're in a short, if you're in a long. I'm going to do me, you do you. I'm doing what I've planned and prepared for like weeks. You know what I mean? I don't care if you're in a long. I don't care if you're in a short. I don't care if you're bullish. I don't care if you're, we're all looking at the same shit. I would assume that if you're still in a long from down here, you're really hoping that VWAP holds, right? I'm okay with that. If that bitch holds and it's going to go out of value area high again, I'm going to be in that long before it makes a higher high. But that's okay, Samurai, because knowing that you need to proceed a little bit more cautiously, maybe knowing that you need to de-risk before Macaulay, you know, maybe it's better to play the CME ETH gap. You know, those things are all super invaluable things that are just purely priceless. You were FOMOing? Well, you know that you can't do that now. So if you can actually execute and never FOMO, you might juice. And I think you can. Anything that you want to talk about as we approach Friday, Samurai TV, you've been watching me long enough to know that we're not going to try to take like a really crazy long or short tomorrow, right? I'm already thinking, like, if S&P doesn't want to turn around here, you guys know where I would like it next, yeah? So if it doesn't want to, like, you know, sweep, then I'm going to be not that guy, but that. So maybe, like, you know, if S&P really does want to keep going, then the Monday, Tuesday, 96 and 55, 66 short, you know, and if it's taking its time, then some sort of like a bullish retest somewhere. Yeah, everybody know how I would play like a soul long to the next zone? It would be the bullish retest of the higher time frame getting turned into support. And then maybe we get like a 157, 160, 175 short opportunity on Monday for Sol too. weekend round trippers, there you go. I mean, you guys can definitely be on the lookout for bad highs and bad lows, or weekend highs to get swept. Living Forest says, why you bearish so much at SPX? Well, higher time frame, I'm bullish, right? Living Forest. You've been here long enough for the last couple years to know that I've been talking about 2025 is bullish, right? Since last year. But what I'm looking at is, and maybe chat if you want to answer it, but have you noticed, is the all expirations Bugama growing to the upside or downside? All I'm looking at is the market sentiment, and yes, order flow. Yeah, but like I'm just keeping track of how people are placing their bets on the higher time frame. So, yeah, I mean, there's a really good chance that we're not going to get rate cuts, right? So do you think if we have no rate cut and tariffs get increased, is that bullish or bearish for the market? Yeah, so what do you think about this? So I'm just being prepared, Living Forest, but I'm always objective, and for sure, could this have been the bottom? Yep. I mean, shameless. They're not even trying to hide it, bro. You remember this when we drew it a couple months back? Is there a chance that that's the low? 100%. So, yeah, I mean, this just kind of looks like a fake out, right? Look. Crazy. So, you know, don't count stuff like this out, brother. You feel me? Juicin says, Kimba, please comment on that infinite BTC wall. We've been talking about it for the last couple days, Juicin. Do you remember what I said earlier in the morning? So we've been talking about it every day, both the ones to the downside and to the upside. The long story short is, you know, I don't know what your sample size is, but these are obviously like retail, right? Like, have you seen Hodu? He's been in a 700 Bitcoin long, 800 Bitcoin long, right? I mean, I don't know if you know if it's testnet or not, but I can easily do a 500, 1,000 Bitcoin position myself. So do they spoof or do they not, right? And last but not least, what do you do when you take this information? Okay? This is clearly either Bybit, Binance, OKX, or BitGet, right? So all you got to do is be watching the open interest and the CVD, right? You shouldn't be guessing on if they're getting filled or not, right? You can see, like, if they're actually getting filled, the open interest on net shorts would be going up, right? So it's just an opportunity for you to really, you know, test yourself, and if you can read the data. You know, once they get absorbed, I just went over like what CVD would mean, right? So if you're going to take a short, for example, do you want a green CVD or a red CVD? So were you here when we broke it down, Juicin? If you missed it, definitely get caught up, you know, but we see this all the time. So like we always say, it's not really about observation will never be analysis. What you see, telling me what you see, there's a wall there, is not really that's not analytical, right? So in the past, what usually happens? And if you understand what usually happens, then on the flip side, you know what would be unusual and what wouldn't be. So you know how to play that as well. Sounds good? Yeah, so I mean, it's not really like an infinite wall. You know what I mean? Like Hodu isn't a 700 long by himself. CoinNerd isn't an 800 long by himself. You know, I'm in a 300 Bitcoin long by myself. So I wouldn't get too distracted over, you know, a couple thousand. All right. The bigger thing would be, did they get filled and for how much? And was it into a divergence? Love you guys. Hey, stay safe. I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow. Sato, tell them what happens if you don't use stop loss.
닥쳐, 씨발년아!